inhliziyo yami ayinhle futhi ngeke ngisho namhlanje ukuthi basobha makodwelanywa ngoba angithandi nje ukuthi alanywe ileli bhoqolo.
So this week's episode of Mnakwethu has to be the saddest, the most heartbreaking, the most gut-wrenching episode ever in the history of Mnakwethu. When Mamkhulu stepped in front of the camera, she dripped pain. I felt her pain from the first word that she uttered. And you know what? I'm like every South African, I complain about this show, but finally, an episode that shows us the reality of a lot of these polygamous situations. So on this week's episode of Mnakwethu, we are introduced to our villain for this episode, a 36-year-old man by the name of Bhekisisa. He is from Mnakwethu, and just like every man, he has come onto the show because he wants to take a second wife. But now, he has already taken a second wife. So his story is a bit different in that he wants Mselegu to help him inform wife number 1 that he has already loboled wife number 2. So wife number 1 is a beautiful lady, Mashallah. He met her in 2014 and partially loboled her in 2017. And after that lobola, I think that's when she proceeded to come and live with his family as his wife, and he treated her as his wife. Now, I don't think their marriage has been easy, marriage in inverted commas, has been easy in the sense that they've already had 2 children who died young, so that should have put a lot of strain on their relationship, but luckily they still have 1 child that is living. So Bhekisisa sits down to have a conversation with Mselegu about his situation, and when he tells Mselegu that actually he has already loboled the second lady, Mselegu is shocked. Of course he should be. This is not how polygamy done. This is not even an abuse of culture. This man just created his own messed up culture. I don't know, hey? But he just flipped everything onto its head. So Bhekisisa tells Mselegu that he has loboled. Wife number 2 has done izbizo. His family was there to support him, and everybody hid this from wife number 1. Bhekisisa is under the impression that wife number 1 does not know all that has been happening. So Mselegu asked him his reasons for why he wants to take a second wife, and his reasons are so weak and immature. Basically, he likes polygamy, and when he has a fight with wife number 1, he wants the privilege of running after wife number 2 where it will be peaceful. His words, not mine. So the show continues, and then we are introduced to lady number 2, and wow, she is a truckload of disrespect, disregard for culture and family, and she is so entitled to this man. Okay, the way she was talking to Mselegu, answering his questions, referring to Mashallah, nothing but disregard and disrespect. Even Mselegu was so shocked, and he tried his own way to let her to explain to her that no, that's not how polygamy works, but she doesn't care. This lady does not want to be in a polygamous relationship. She wants to be the only woman in this man's life. Okay, so Mselegu told her that they are here to ask for permission from Mashallah for her to be wife number 1, and lady number 2 was like, no, you won't be asking for permission. You will be informing her that I am here. Have I mentioned that Mselegu was shocked? Yes, but at this point, I think he just got so angry. I mean, Mselegu handled this situation as best as he could, you know. So the show went on, and they had to go and have a sit down with Mashallah, as in Bhekisisa and Mselegu had a sit down with Mashallah to then inform her about, you know, the arrival of wife number 2. And lo and behold, turns out Mashallah already knows. And turns out Mashallah is so hurt and angry about this situation. Initially, she said that she does not want him to take a second wife because, number one, he's not doing things properly. Mashallah is a smart woman and she understands culture and she understands her place in this culture. I feel that if Beksisa had done things correctly and properly, he would not have this messy situation to deal with right now. So, right, Mashallah initially had said no, but the more they have this conversation, she ended up agreeing, but under certain conditions. Condition number one being that Beksisa finishes paying off lobola for her. Yes, Beksisa runs off lobolaing a second woman when he has not even finished lobola for his wife, of which he met when she was a maiden. I explained in my previous video the importance of a maiden in the Zulu culture.
Okay.
So Msalego approached this whole situation differently. Msalego asked Mashallah what kind of a husband this man is. And let me tell you, Msalego never asked any woman this. As far as I know, this is the first time Msalego poses this question is, does he treat you well? Is he a good husband? And la. It's like a button was pressed on Mashallah. She revealed everything, that this man is disrespectful, that this man doesn't take care of her, that this man vanishes time on time again, comes back after a couple of weeks, a couple of months, that she feels neglected, she feels abused. He tried to gaslight her and deny it, but I am so happy that Msalego was on Mashalembe's side. Eventually, Mashalembe was asked if she wants to meet the second woman, and Mashalembe said no. But the idiot, Beksisa, wanted Mashalembe to meet the second woman. So Mashalembe leaves the room, and this man goes outside to fetch her back and pretty much forces her to be in the same room with lady number 2. As I was watching, actually, I then realized that, hold on, this whole thing is taking place in a lodge. I thought, when we meet the wife, for the wife to meet the second lady, this happens at the man's house. But for this episode, everything happens in the lodge. And that got me thinking as to why. Does this man not have a house? I must not be so harsh on him. Maybe it's just that the beds are road in Mnakwethu and they are not easily accessible. So that's why they decided to do everything at the lodge. And another observation I made was that when they were all sitting, lady number 2, Mashallah, Msalego, and Beksisa, Mashallah never addressed lady number 2. Mashallah never even spoke to lady number 2. And you know what? I stand a queen. So the show ending, this whole thing was so heart-wrenching, so heartbreaking, because Mashalembe's pain was obvious for everybody to see. The whole episode dripped of her heartache, And when this episode ended, she said that she was done, she was finished, and she was leaving this relationship. And I truly hope that she does leave. This week's episode of Mnakwethu has brought to my attention major societal issues that I just want to elaborate on. Issue number 1 for me is what patriarchy has turned into. In today's society, patriarchy is now a problem. It has morphed to be something that only benefits the man. The man can do whatever he wants because he's a man. But the woman has to adhere to certain societal rule and be a good wife. Now, I don't believe that patriarchy was always bad. I believe that at some point in time and for certain family, it has worked. Now, it works when the man is a proper leader, provider, and protector. The element of being a protector does not only mean that the man must keep his family safe. It also means that they must protect their family from emotional and psychological pain. from the society and the man himself. Men as well must not do things that will hurt their wife. That is the essence of being a protector. And Bheki failed Mashallah shame. He failed. The next issue that I want to touch on is the family structure. In this situation, it failed its function. Bheki family is horrid. They betrayed Mashallah. They failed culture and they failed the institution of polygamy. When your child is getting married, the family's role is to provide guidance to ensure that all customs are respected and done accordingly. Bheki family didn't, and I wonder why. Is it because Bheki is a breadwinner? We know that rules are different in society for breadwinners. The next point I want to talk about is polygamy. Now, this show does an amazing job in portraying polygamy in a negative light, and I don't think that it's entirely bad. It just needs to be done properly. I believe that there's a small portion of women in our society that wouldn't mind being in polygamous relationships. I'm not one of those women, but I can respect those that are willing to be in polygamy. But the onus is on the man to do things properly. Polygamy will not work if the man is not honest with every woman, especially the first woman that he married. The man must have the resources, the finances to take care of 2 households or more, depending on how many wives he wants. Also, the man must have the time to be physically there for each and every one of these households that he is creating. This week's episode provided us with a perfect cautionary tale of what happens when you're dealing with a selfish man. Bheki character is questionable. He lacks integrity and accountability. He's selfish, self-centered, and showed an amazing disregard for his wife's feeling. He's also cowardly. He admitted that he was scared to tell his wife about lady number 2. He's also scared of lady number 2. Watch the episode. You will see his entire demeanor change when he's around lady number 2. I want to also touch on us as women in this society. We lead with a scarcity mindset when it comes to men. We seem to approach relationships like the world will run out of men before you get one for yourself. And I think that's why a lot of women don't think twice before stealing another woman's man. Lady number 2 is the perfect example of that. And that's all for today. Please comment, what do you think of my assessment? And what do you think of this particular episode? Don't forget to like this video. And please, please, please do subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.